Table 1, we have Josh Meyer going to sit down at table 2. Okay, table 3 is Chris Olave at table 2, Josh Myers. Right here, Josh. And then people will just start asking you guys questions.
Okay, everyone, thanks for being here. My name's Scott. I'll be the moderator for this session. A couple of notes first. Use your raise your hand function on the Zoom to ask a question. We've got a couple up already. I'll call your name and or your outlet. Please unmute yourself. And please mention who your question is directed to. After I call your name, I'll turn off your raised hand. So if you have a follow-up or another question, please raise your hand again. And with that, we will get going. Up first, Patrick Murphy.
Yeah, first for Chris, this is Patrick Murphy from 247 Sports. Obviously, without being able to play in the last game, the way that it ended last week or 2 weeks ago, last year, sorry. How much did this mean to you, getting the touchdown, all of the things that came together in this game for you?
It means a lot. Just thank God, first of all. Glad my family got to be here. It's been a tough year, but just had to fight through adversity. And luckily I came out in the end and had a huge game today. And I'm just blessed and love my teammates, love my coaches, and it's all glory to God.
Okay, thank you. Up next, we have Spencer Holbrook.
Josh, you and Wyatt are two of the most vocal leaders on the team. When you hear all of the talk that went on from the other side in the last couple of weeks, what does that do for you and Wyatt just personally when you know that you have to kind of lead the team with your voice?
What do you mean in terms of the last couple of weeks? Like, exactly. I just want to make sure I don't misinterpret what you're asking.
The number 11 ranking, the
Yeah.
they've only played 6 games thing, like that, all of that.
Yeah. I think that just gives us extra motivation, extra ways that we can get our guys going, get our guys pumped about this game. I think it's really important to be gracious in victory and defeat. And so that's what we're doing. And, I'm not going to say anything else about that and what they said. It was a good football team, respect to them. But comments and stuff like that just gives us, extra motivation. Just, if we didn't already have enough reasons to want to win this game, it just gave us more.
And then, Chris, I wanted to really quick ask you, what did you see out of Justin tonight? I know he was just incredible, but from your perspective, being able to put the ball right on the money to most every time after that injury that he went through, what did you see from him tonight?
That's Justin. I mean, we all know that's Justin. He's tough, and we all can rely on him in situations like that. I know he took a huge hit. I mean, I heard it from where I was, so he got up. I went to go check on him. He said he's not coming out the game. So I just love Justin, and he's a competitor. And there was no way coming out that game. And I'm glad we have him on our team.
We're now also joined by Trey Sermon.
Okay, thank you. Up next on the question, Stephen Means.
Hey, Trey. Just talk about how comfortable you've probably gotten in this offense, especially these last 3 games here where you just seem to be building on yourself week by week.
I've gotten extremely comfortable over time, just getting used to the flow of the offense and really just getting in sync with the offensive line. I mean, each week I feel like I've been getting better and better at it.
All right, was it, I don't know, frustrating those first couple of weeks where maybe you were struggling a little bit, finding holes and maybe being able to have some success?
It was definitely frustrating at first, but I mean, I knew if I just continue to work hard and just trust my coach and that it was going to pay off.
Patrick Murphy.
Also for Trey, you say comfortable, but these last 2 games have been, pretty ridiculous if we're being frank. What is your comfort level, if that's the word you want to use at this point in the season?
Really just getting in the zone, really. Just like I said, just getting in sync with the offensive line. I mean, I know what I'm doing. I mean, I trust my ability, and I mean, I'm just letting the game come to me and just being decisive.
And to follow up on that, and to follow up on Steven's question, you had this offseason that was unprecedented, and everyone went through it, but transferring to a new school, you talked earlier this week about not being able to really get into the city and things like that. But how much do you think that actually impacted how long it took you to kind of really get rolling?
I feel like it impacted me a little bit. I mean, just coming in, not really just being around the guys a bunch. I mean, just because of the whole COVID situation. So I mean, it definitely had a somewhat of an impact on me.
Spencer Holbrook, go ahead.
Trey, how much do you and Justin feed off of each other? Because it seemed like you had to shoulder the load again the Big Ten championship game when he struggled, but then you guys were both playing as well as you could probably play tonight. So how much did you feed off of each other in the run and pass game?
I feel like we feed off each other a lot. I mean, me and him we're pretty close. I mean, and we both just got that drive. I mean, we just want to do our best and just do whatever we have to do to help this team win.
You've been around a couple of really talented quarterbacks in your time. Where does Justin fit among guys that you've been able to be around?
He's definitely up there in the top. I mean, he's one of the toughest quarterbacks that I have. I mean, him just taking shots, just running hard, still delivering balls. I mean, he's been great.
Steven Means.
Josh, first for you. What's it like blocking for a guy who's running the way Trey Sermon is right now?
Makes life fun, man. It just like how you guys were talking about how Justin and Trey complement each other. Trey and the offensive line complement each other. When we do well, Trey does well. When Trey does well, we do well. And it's a whole lot of fun. Especially after the start of the season that we had, and people just being like, "What's up with your run game?" Even though we were like leading the Big Ten in rushing yards, so it's good.
And Chris, for you, I know this has to be like the biggest monkey off your back ever, given how last year went, and you're narrating the hype video that's coming out for this. I don't know, just what's this feel like for you getting that deep touchdown pass? Just how are you feeling right now?
I feel great. I mean, coming off last year, it was tough for me. Trying to train all year just to be in this position. And we finally got here, and just being able to beat these guys and have fun with my teammates. Most importantly, I'm just blessed and I'm proud to be here. So.
Buckeyes now, go ahead.
Josh, when you guys already come into the game down Harry Miller and then Matthew Jones go down and Wyatt Davis goes down, how do you guys continue to make sure you have that continuity so that you guys can have the most efficient and effective offense?
Actually, a really good question. I think it just speaks to the culture of our offensive line room. I think it speaks to Coach Stud as a coach and the players that we have in that room. Those guys did a great job filling in and coming in whenever they need to, and they did exactly what was asked of them. And those are grown men. They were put in a tough situation. That's a terribly hard game to come into off the bench. I mean, there's just stuff going on everywhere. Blitzes everywhere. It's confusing. And so I just think it speaks to our offensive line room, and really our whole team is like that. And so I just think it speaks to our culture. We're good?
Go with Bill Rabinowitz, please.
We have Trey Sermon for a couple more minutes now, and we'll be bringing.
Okay, can you hear me?
Shortly.
Okay, Trey. Bill Rabinowitz with the Columbus Dispatch. Obviously, you weren't here last year for this game, but you, I'm sure, know what happened and know how your teammates felt about it. How important was it for you guys to win this game and put yourself back on the level of the Alabamas and the Clemsons and have a chance to go and play Alabama now?
It's very important. I mean, as soon as I made this transition and got here, I mean, I kind of knew what was going on as far as that. And I mean, we've worked so hard this offseason, despite all the stuff that happened. And I mean, it was very important for us to win this game. I mean, we know what we had to do, and we know that our goals that we have. And I mean, now we're just one step closer.
We're now joined by Haskell Garrett as well.
Spencer Holbrook, you're up.
Haskell, what's that feel like when you know that you can dominate an offensive line the way you guys were tonight? Was there and then was there a moment where you knew that you guys were just going to be able to dominate them up front?
I mean, you know, we just played our game, did our job, and we just hung in there and, you know, didn't jump out of gaps, just played assignment sound. And like Coach Dave said, you know, do your job, and that's all you can really do.
Was there a moment though in the game where you guys knew that you had the upper hand in the trenches?
I wouldn't say we had an upper hand. I just we knew that we had to play them every down, every series, because, you know, Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback, and, you know, he didn't show it tonight, but, you know, the cards fell the way they fell.
Okay, Stephen Means.
Hey, Haskell, since you were here last year, I'll ask you this question. Whether it was the targeting call the first half, the fumble that was reviewed and went in your guys' favor this time, or sealing the game with an interception in the end zone, does this win kind of feel like a little bit of poetic justice given the way last year kind of had some similar moments and none of those went your way?
I'd say really each year is different. Last year those were momentum changing calls, and so you know, the momentum fell in their way and they capitalized on it. And, you know, we attacked the off season, and what a journey it's been to get back to this spot. And we just went out there and played, you know, our butts off.
And Trey, as a guy who wasn't here last year and came in the spring, and, you know, you had a weird transition here, but I guess what was the vibe around the rest of these guys when it came to Clemson and, you know, this game as you guys were preparing for a regular season and finally getting back to this moment?
It is important, and for us to get where we want to go, I mean, we knew that we were going to be back in this position, and we got to take care of business. And I mean, that was just a big emphasis. We got to execute once we get this opportunity, and that's what we did.
Patrick Murphy, go ahead.
Haskell, coming into the game, what was the game plan in terms of defensive line? You guys are down some guys. You know what Clemson's bringing. You've seen it a year ago. What was the talk? What was the game plan about how we handle this group, especially being a little shorthanded?
I mean, like I said it in earlier interviews, you know, we had to contain, you know, Etienne and Trevor. Those dudes are great players, and they're great playmakers for that team. You know, they showed it on certain downs there. Like, you know, Trevor can run the ball, and Etienne is fast and elusive. So we just had to settle down and get those guys, you know, boxed in, not get on the edge, and keep leverage. So, yeah.
We're now also joined by Jonathan Cooper.
Jonathan, obviously, we talked to you before this game about, you know, your chance to play against Clemson, but winning this game, getting to play in a national title, what emotions went through your mind when that whistle sounded? I mean, what are you feeling right now?
To be honest, I mean, it's just still kind of surreal. I've never done anything like this before. Actually having a big impact and playing in a game like this, I just give all credit to my brothers. You know, I do it for them. I love this team so much, and I'm just so happy I was able to get it done for them.
Bill Rabinowitz.
Yeah, for both Jonathan and Haskell. You guys held ATN to 32 yards and 10 carries. Obviously, some of that's because they didn't run the ball a ton after they fell behind, but you really did shut them down. How important was it to make them one-dimensional?
It was very important to us. Obviously, ATN is a great running back. He's fast, elusive, and he runs hard. We put a big emphasis all week in practice that we had to contain him and stop the run. I'm sure Haskell can attest to that.
Yeah, we really pride ourselves on stopping the run. Our group is, named the Rushmen. And a lot of people think that, that just means getting sacks and taking down the quarterback. But no, our goal every week is to keep a team under 100 yards rushing. And, sometimes we don't, and sometimes we do. But we know when we do, we win the game.
And if I could follow up, you now face Alabama. They've been obviously a dominating team all year. You're going to be an underdog again. I'm sure that doesn't matter to you. What's kind of your approach now? Do you feel like this one got the monkey off your back and you can just play now?
I would say it didn't get the monkey off our back. I feel like all of our players, we play with a chip on our shoulder. And obviously Alabama's been dominant all year, just like Clemson has. We just have to go in there with the same mentality. And I trust the players that we got here. I trust this team, and I know we'll get the job done.
Congratulations.
We're also joined by tight end Jeremy Ruckert.
Spencer Holbrook.
Oop, what changed after the first two possessions?
You said what changed?
Yeah, what changed? They seem to be running up and down the field pretty easily, and then like a switch just flipped, and you guys were getting pressure on him and stopping ETN and shutting him down. What changed there?
Yeah, I just feel like we got into a rhythm. We were obviously when you first go out there, you don't know how the game's going to be, how fast it's going to be, and then once you actually settle down and you see what they're doing, makes the game a lot slower and able to play your technique.
And then you had a strip sack that Clemson ended up recovering, but you forced a fumble there, and I saw you celebrate a little bit. What does that moment mean to you? I know the game probably means so much more, but just the moment of having a strip sack in a huge moment in a huge game after everything that you went through last year and everything. What did that moment mean to you?
Honestly, it was kind of just crazy. But to be honest, all in that moment, all I was thinking was that, I'm doing this for my brothers. I'm doing this for my team. I don't know if you saw, but after I did my little kick, I celebrated with Haskell. And, that just meant the world to me that I was out there with my brothers playing this game, that I wasn't able to do that last year.
Stephen Means.
Hey, Jeremy, I know the tight ends do a lot in this offense, but it doesn't always show up in the stat sheet. So to have the numbers now show up in the box score and have the running game perform the way it does, how does that feel as a tight end here?
It feels great, but we always say that we're just here to do whatever the team needs to win, and I feel like it shows on film every week is that whatever the team needs for us to do, whether it's pass protection, run blocking, or pass catching, we're ready to do it. We're always prepared for it, and we always got the ability. We're just waiting for it to come. We're waiting for the moment to come in the game. So I feel like it was good for our guys to just show what we were capable of doing and be able to get out there and just do our thing.
There are some recruits out there, if you ask them, why they would tight end recruits why they would consider Ohio State, given that you guys don't get a lot of targets. And you pretty much just gave them a game for where they can go. That's why. I don't know. Do you feel kind of validated coming here and how you've kind of developed?
I'd say to any recruit, anybody can say what they want about where you go and get the ball and everything, but if you want to be developed as a person first and then as a tight end, I think there's no better place to come than here. I came here never playing tight end in my life, and now I feel like I'm becoming more of a complete player. You can develop. It's a developmental position, and I think coming here, if I went anywhere else, I wouldn't be half the player I am right now, and just being able to play in all aspects of the game, whether it's run blocking, pass protection, or in the pass game, I think it just shows that we use our guys. We don't need to sub anybody out. We can all do it. We're all capable, and I think that there's no other place that can showcase all these abilities in here.
We're also joined by Wyatt Davis at this time.
Bill Rabinowitz.
Yeah, this is for Wyatt. First of all, congratulations. You obviously went down. What happened? Was that just another recurrence of the knee? And how are you right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, it was my knee buckled and it flared up, but I will be all good. I just had to kind of come out of that because I couldn't really walk right after, but shortly I bounced back after. But it's something that rehab can't fix.
And could you address the fact, I mean, once again, you guys had to replace an offensive lineman on the fly. Matthew Jones comes in, he gets hurt. Paris Johnson comes in and fills in. What is it about this offensive line that enables you just to, I know it's next man up, but that's easier said than done.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it all starts with practice, especially leading into this game. I mean, especially with COVID, you don't know who's going to be on that plane. So Coach Stud, I feel like he does a great job of just getting the guys mentally prepared because you don't know what's going to happen. Like today, like I went down for a play, then Matt went down, guys were dropping. I mean, it's that time in the season, and you just you have to be ready. And I feel like Paris, when he stepped in, he definitely made the most of his opportunity. And, I'm really excited for his future.
Let's go with Bill Landis, please.
Hey, Wyatt, it looked like coming into this game that maybe you guys would have an advantage up front against Clemson, but I guess you can't be sure of that until you get onto the field. When did you feel like you guys as an offensive line had pretty well established the line of scrimmage? It did seem like for as splashy as some of the plays were, that's kind of where you just took the game over was up front.
Yeah, I mean, I would say right after that first series, we knew. I mean, typically that's how we typically know is right after that first series, but especially with this game, right after the first series, we knew that we could control the line of scrimmage. I feel like we did a great job of doing that today.
Lane Higgins.
Hey there. So mainly I got a question about how you're preparing to handle Brent Venables' defense, just because he does tend to do a lot of disguising and deception. But, some of the plays that were drawn up for tight ends, that's maybe something that you haven't done earlier in the year. But, was that as much a response to trying to, mix it up and do something that wasn't on film? Or kind of how did the team decide to rely so much on that kind of offense?
I mean, like you said, everything's week to week. Coach Day's one of the best I've ever seen at just scheming on defenses and making sure he finds the open play. But like I said earlier, the tight end room has always been able to be a group to rely on, whether it's in the run game or being able to go make plays. And I think you guys saw that today is that no moment's too big for us. We've been tested. We're a veteran group, and I feel like if the team needs us to do anything, and this week it might have been more pass catching, next week might be more blocking. It's just whatever they need us to do. I feel like we're ready for that, and we're just going to give our best just for that.
Yeah, and just as a quick follow-up, I know that Alabama's defense scheme is a little bit simpler, but have you at all thought about what role the tight ends might play and just how the offense might change when it's against a different opponent?
I mean, we're gonna enjoy this first, but yeah, we're definitely thinking about it. They're a great team. They're a great defense. They have their outside guys are really good. So there might be some things in the middle that open up, but we're just gonna watch everything and enjoy this moment first. But we'll definitely take a look at that and whatever they need us to do. Like I said before, we're always ready to do whatever they need.
We're now joined by defensive MVP Tuff Borland.
David Hale, please.
Hey, this can be for any of you guys, really, but a lot of discussion about motivation after this game. I know a number of people pointed to Dabo's coaching poll ranking of you guys. Certainly, Coach Day talked about last year's game, and I think he even said it was sort of hard to tell whether he was more excited about a national championship shot or getting some revenge on last year. How much do you think that motivation played a role in this game, or was it just a matter of, hey, both teams were really motivated, we were just better?
I mean, when you get this far in the season, you get into these couple of games, anything motivates you, whether it's what they say, what we say. This is the biggest stage in college football, and if that doesn't motivate you, then you're not really, I don't know what you're doing here. So, I mean, we heard everything he was saying. We definitely use that a little bit as motivation, but just the stage, the platform that we've been on in this college football playoff, and now getting a chance to go move on. I mean, that's motivation in itself, and we're just going to keep that energy going and keep rolling into this next week.
Austin Ward.
Hey, Wyatt, I know that you had your own injury to bounce back from there, but the way that Justin responded, you guys have seen him do this before, and with that toughness, what was he like in the huddle? How much pain did you see from him? How impressed are you with what he battled through tonight?
I mean, it's something like that is expected coming from a guy like him. I've said it numerous times before. He is a great leader, great teammate, and I'm happy that I can call him my brother because he took some nasty shots today, and specifically on that one, I had no doubt in my mind that if he could, he would come back in the game. And sure enough, he just needed to take a break, take a play out, and he was back in the play. And it's really not surprising. I mean, I feel like especially now where we're at, everyone just kind of expects that from him just because he's shown it before. And, he's an exceptional leader and an exceptional teammate.
Tony Girdman.
Well, this game was basically a year in the making. What did it feel like after this game with how you guys left the field last year and then how you guys left it this year?
I mean, obviously, last year was difficult. Flash forward 1 year later, to have this game go as it did, it obviously feels great. With everything this team has been through throughout this, these last 10 months or so, I'm just so happy for this group of guys.
Tim May.
Yeah, for Wyatt Davis, what does it feel like now that y'all have a big time running game to go with your big time quarterback? What is that sense? And did you feel it again tonight, the momentum you guys got just from Trey Sermon and you guys rumbling down the road?
Man, it feels great, especially having a guy like Trey back there. I mean, as long as we can get him some creases, he's going to make some special happen out of it. And it feels really good, especially just being able to control the line of scrimmage, something that I feel like we've done a much better job these past couple of games. And really in this game when it mattered the most and we needed to drive the ball and control the clock, that's what we did. And we were able to do that by controlling the line of scrimmage with Trey, and he was making exceptional plays. And obviously with Justin in the pass, I mean, it feels really good when you put on the amount of points that we did against a team like this. So just got to keep that going.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Dan Hope.
Tough. You guys gave up 2 touchdowns in the first 3 defensive series. What do you think it was that allowed you guys to stop the bleeding from there and play much better rest of the game?
I mean, I don't think. Look, we knew Clemson was, one of the best offenses in the country. We couldn't get down on ourselves. We couldn't, lose confidence in what we were doing. These guys, throughout this whole process, I think that just shows the character of this group. To just kind of bounce back like that, stick with it, continue to play. Good things happen.
I'm going to go back to Patrick Murphy.
A similar question. The way that Clemson was able to move the ball early and then finding some success later, what are you telling guys, especially early on in the huddle, similar message to what you just relayed to us, or what was the talk when Clemson was having some offensive success and maybe things weren't working as well as you thought?
No, just stay at it. Clemson is gonna get yards on anyone in the country. Look, they got 2 of the best players in the country on their offense. They got talent all over the place. So they're gonna get their yards. What we couldn't do is give up touchdowns in the red zone. Obviously, they put up some points, but the whole team, we played complementary football for the most part. So again, just super happy for this group of guys. Really proud, and just looking forward to it next week.
And given what you just said about Clemson being able to do that against anyone in the country, how much does this say about a defense that, frankly, there were some question marks coming into this game, especially in the secondary?
Yeah, I think throughout the whole year, we've always had confidence in ourselves. Obviously, week to week, we have sorry. Some weeks we've put out a better outlook than other weeks. But again, the character of this group of guys, staying confident, sticking together, and we got the win.
Andrea Adelson, please.
This question is for Tough. How much of what you guys were able to do defensively tonight in terms of stopping the run with Trevor and Etienne was based off of perhaps some lessons that you all learned from last year's game?
Yeah, I think that plays a role in it. I think each generally going into each game each week, we have a good idea of how people like to attack our defenses in the run. And obviously we struggled last year with quarterback run and gave up some big plays there. So that's really something we took from, just kind of learned from that.
Okay, we have time for one more question. We're going to go to Tim May.
Yeah, if Jeremy Ruckert's still on there, and maybe Wyatt could answer this both. What did it mean to you guys to see your quarterback take the hit he took and have to take some shots even to get back in the game? But how much did he rise stature-wise in y'all's minds? I mean, this is one of the great performances by a quarterback in postseason history, Ohio State or otherwise. But what does it just say about Justin Fields and what he did tonight?
Unfortunately, we're down to just Tim. We're just down to Tim May right now. But Tough, if you'd like to answer that. I'm sorry, Tough's the last one left, Tim.
Oh, he is? Okay. Well,
Sorry.
you, Tough. Yeah.
Sorry. But obviously Justin's an unbelievable player. Each week with him at QB, you have a good chance to win. So can't say enough good things about him. Can't say enough good things about the entire offense. I said before, we played complimentary football tonight. They're able to gain some yards on the ground, keep Clemson's offense off the field, and we hit some big plays and we had some chances. So, credit across the board. Obviously, Justin is a huge part of that.
Yeah. By the way, have you seen Trey Sermon? Have you seen this coming on from him the last several weeks, Tough? I mean, in practice, et cetera, what has changed about him and the offensive line in that regard of running the ball?
Yeah. Every day in practice, it seems like the last month or two, it's picked up quite a bit. Trey's looked awesome in practice. The offensive line has looked awesome in practice. And, credit to those guys just going out there every day and focusing on their craft and getting better. And the work they put in is shows now. So
yeah, thanks, man.
Hey, we want to thank everybody for being here and joining us in this unique year and season. So again, thank you very much.